Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, resting in the true nature of who you are is the death of the ego. That's right. Now, the question is, what's the true nature of who we are? And the answer is consciousness. Your true nature is the consciousness. And the nature of the consciousness is conscious and empty. Empty, void, nothing. But that void nothing is not nothing. That's the background that supports life. That is the essence of life that allows us to experience the world. That's who you are. That's what we are. Now, to rest in who we are, we have to become empty. We have to let go all identification. Because truth of who you are is not the mental identification and not the physical identification. It exists within, but it's not physical. It's not mental. Now, that's who we are. That's the truth of who we are. And right now, our reality is different. Right now, we are identifying ourselves with the physical world, mental world, emotional world. We seek more experience. We seek for more upgrades. And that itself is the denial of who we are. The true freedom, freedom from struggle, freedom from fear is about resting in the true nature of who we are. And right now, our reality is identifying ourselves with the layers. When we reflect on our life, we know how much we are identify ourselves with the world, isn't it? From the morning we open our eyes, we are seeking outwardly. That's life. Even in the sleep, when we are dreaming, we are still seeking in the dream too. So seeking is constantly there. So life on the relative world, in the world, yes, it's all about experience. And the true nature of who we are, which is the consciousness, allows us to experience everything in the world. And that's what consciousness allows you. But this natural unfoldment also makes us get lost in the experience. And when we start to lost in the experience, lost in the world, when we are involved in it, and when we get distracted by the experience, that's where we start to forget. And the forgetting the truth of who we are is from the beginning, from our childhood. The life is always outside, experiencing the world, experiencing everything that is present in our environment, in our surrounding. Yes, consciousness allows us to experience. Why? Because the nature of the consciousness is conscious. So the consciousness is always there in our experience. The experience of joy, the experience of fear, the experience of struggle. The, the consciousness is constantly there, whatever experience we are going through. Consciousness is observing. That's the nature of the consciousness. Now, when we look at ourselves, we identify ourselves with the world. And because of identifying ourselves and prolonging that identification brings the struggle in life, brings the fear. Prolonging the experience itself is coming from the place of fear. You might not see the fear until you start to investigate your fear. Then you realize that all your movement is fear based movement. Fear is uh, triggering you to constantly look out for more and more and more experience. So that's life on the outside, but also that brings the suffering. That brings the struggle. Why? Because the experience world is a world of changing phenomenon, and and our human nature, our egotistical nature, wants to and make that permanent, and because of that, uh, life becomes struggle. And because of the struggle, then we start to look for freedom, and that's where the spirituality comes in. And spirituality is asking you to figure out the truth, inner truth, and uh, and to figure out the inner truth, now the journey has to be undoing undoing the mind, uh, dismantling the mind. Why? Because mind is the source of struggle. The idea comes in, the idea can make you happy, the idea can make you also experience the fear. It has the dualistic uh, unfolding. Um, it's the yes and no world, preference and dislike. So mind is a source of struggle, and from our own experience, we know that looking into the mind for the freedom is a never-ending journey. Yes, there can be uh, upgraded meanings and upgraded experience, byproduct of the experience, but no matter what upgrade we go through, it never helps us to truly be free from the fear, free from the mind. So, and spirituality reminds us to, hey, the freedom is not outside in the world. The freedom is about recognizing the inner truth, recognizing the absolute truth within. And that's where the journey starts. So the experience that we go through brings layers. That means the mind. We identify ourselves with the mind. When we identify ourselves with the mind, that itself is the ego self. And now, the journey to be free, or the death of the ego, is about undoing the mind. All belief we have is ego. All preference we have is ego. The mind is ego. The belief we have is ego. The preference we have is ego. All ideas, all mental identification is ego. And that's not who you are. Who you are is the consciousness. And the nature of the consciousness is conscious and empty. Empty. That's why we need to reverse engineering the mind to figure out the nature of the mind, and also uh, also need to see the truth with the final inquiry of who am I, with the question who am I, and that will help us to disengage from the mind, because that inquiry will help us to see the absolute truth within, which is we realize the consciousness is conscious all the time. It's there in the plain sight, noticing every move we are making. So, resting in that is true freedom. Resting in that is the death of the ego. The whole journey is about unbecoming, unbecoming what we have become so far. Uh, Again, why we unbecome in the spiritual journey? Because what we have become is the false self, is the illusion. Uh, So, because of that, holding on to that is suffering, and it reversing, unbecoming is the way to truly rest in who we are. So, that's the journey, enlightenment journey. That's the spiritual journey. That's the uh, yeah, that's the journey to end the fear. So, spiritual journey ends. Okay, death of the ego ends the spiritual journey. Ends the spiritual journey means ends the inward seeking. You can only go towards to face the consciousness. That's the end of the spiritual journey. Once you see the truth, once you see the nature of the consciousness, then life becomes easier. Once you see the truth, that the inward journey, the unbecoming journey, already makes you realize what is mine and what is the world. Basically, you understand the world and the mind is a pattern world. There's a healthy pattern and there's unhealthy pattern. You recognize that, and then after realizing the truth, you just reintegrating in the world with the healthy pattern, with simplicity, and that's pretty much easy living, fearless living, uh, living without the mental drama. And yes, that's it. Living without the mental drama is freedom. That's spiritual freedom. Okay, but that freedom meant freedom from the drama is not resisting the world. Uh, most of the time, most of the time, people uh, mistaken that the drama-free life is isn't about it. The people think that drama-free life is about disengaging from the world, from the environment that kind of triggers the person, and not involving in that is freedom. But that's not true freedom, because even you disengage from the world, the fear is constantly there. So The true spiritual freedom is about being in the world and also not getting affected by the movement of the world. And that can only happen when you see the truth. Seeing the truth makes you understand the world as it is, and also makes you see who you truly are. And that's that. Okay. So again, the resting in your true nature is the death of the ego. Now, again, I mentioned that the reality is different right now, isn't it? Right now, we are seeking and becoming more and more. And resting in who you are is unbecoming, undoing the mind. Because who you are, the nature of the consciousness is conscious and empty. Remember, it's empty. But that emptiness is not nothing. That is the essence of life, supports life. That is the background that allows all experience to rise and fall in you. You know, so that's the essence. And resting in who you are is freedom. Okay, seek that. Anyway, that's all in this video. Thank you for watching. Yeah, by the way, I have published the book called Unbecoming. It's available on Amazon. I have shared the references on how to undo the mind to go back all the way to no mind, and also at that point how to see the absolute truth. So I have shared the information. If you know if you like reading, grab a copy and enjoy. Okay. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care for now. Bye.